Hello, everybody. It's Christine here, and happy Wednesday. Today, I want to talk to you about decision making. And as I got into this, oh my gosh, it got so convoluted. I was researching just all these different things about decision making, and there's content out there around companies and like strategic decisions in a business and personal decisions and conscious and unconscious. And I don't know, my brain was ready to explode. And what I decided to do was to kind of share with you the highlights. And I realized that so many times there's so much information out there that you just get it's so convoluted. So I want to just distill down some things that resonated for me, and I hope that they resonate for you and add value for you in your decision making. And so, first of all, again, I'm Christine Roberts with Create Your Best Life. And my mission is to partner with women to help women get unstuck, take control of their lives, prioritize their decisions, or prioritize what's most important, to make confident decisions, to move your life in a forward direction, personally and professionally. And so there's many things. I've been a leadership consultant, worked as a leadership consultant with John Maxwell, and worked in the advisory group with Disney and their area where we took the Disney approach to culture, help companies apply it in their business. I was certified as a life coach 12 years ago and have been doing that for a long time on the side and speaking. And now I am doing my own thing. So if you're out there and you are looking to get unstuck, take control of your life, prioritize what's most important, to make confident decisions, basically trust your gut again, reach out to me. We've got a 12-week program that's amazing. But now, enough of that. Decision making. Every day we make decisions, conscious and unconscious. And think about your day, right? You got up, and what did you do when you got up? There's all these internal conversations going on. Do I want to make my coffee now? Or maybe you're in a routine. Like my husband, every morning, I get up around 6 o'clock, or if I go to the gym on Tuesday. So I get up at about 5 o'clock on Tuesdays. And we always go downstairs. We sit in our keeping room. My husband goes and makes my coffee, brings it to me. We sit there and we have conversation. And then I come up and I make the bed. I'm a freak about making the bed, and I like things neat and orderly. And it's just, these are almost like unconscious things. I don't really think about it. The next thing, go and get dressed, get myself together. And then sometimes there's decisions on, what I'm going to wear. I try to have my calendar where I pretty much know what I'm doing, but I don't always. So we've got those conscious and unconscious decisions for you. Think about your day. Think about when you got up. Were you deciding what to do, what not to do? It's like you and we make approximately 35,000 decisions a day. I mean, that is so interesting to me. And we have 70,000 thoughts per day, which is all this internal conversation, but then we're constantly making decisions. And, like there's big decisions, like when our family, we decided to travel America, and there was lots of decisions around, well, are we going to sell our house? Are we going to rent our house? What kind of RV are we going to get? Do we want one that pulls behind a big truck, or do we want to get a Class A? Well, if we get a Class A, we got to get something to drive. So then what kind of vehicle would we pull? What would we do for our kids for school? Like that was like big decisions, lots of decisions. And something else that is really interesting is there's something called decision fatigue. So decision fatigue is when we're making all these decisions, right? We can just run out of steam, and we just don't want to make decisions anymore. So for example, at the end of the day, when you come home at the end of the day, and it's towards the end of the day, and your husband or your significant other or somebody asks you where you want to eat, or what you want to watch, many times we'll just be like, I don't care, you decide. How many times have you said that? You decide. Because we just don't have any more energy. So, decision fatigue is real. And that's why too, that ties into, making poor choices at night. I was watching this woman who's like a health coach, and she was saying that people will do so good all day long, and then there's like 20 minutes at the end of the day that they'll just, like, all their self-control goes away, and they'll just eat a bunch of ice cream, and all this discipline and all of the, self-control they had all day just goes by the wayside. And that ties into the whole decision making. I don't know if you've ever seen, like, Steve Jobs talked about that he wears the same, well, when he was alive, when he was alive, he wore the same thing every day, black t-shirt and jeans, because he felt like that was a decision he didn't even think about. And so every day we want to set ourselves up with decision making that we aren't using a lot of energy for that. Now, another thing is about aligning with our values. So I want you to consider, when you're making decisions, how many times have you made a decision where it was just easy to acquiesce to what other people wanted to do? Let me give you an example in my life. When my kids were little and I went back to my corporate job, and there was a, daycare place, one of my neighbors was going to that same daycare, and there was a number of them around our area. And she said to me, "Oh, Christine, have your kids go there and then we can carpool and all that." Well, I didn't really even research the place or anything. I just trusted what she was saying. And I was just going along. It was easy, right? She took the decision making away. Like, I didn't have to make a decision because I just was following what she was saying. Well, I signed my kids up. I pay the money. And if you have kids, it's not cheap. And we're all ready to go. Guess what happened? And this is no disrespect to this friend. I mean, it taught me something really important. I called her up and said, "Okay, I'm all signed up. I paid the deposit. We're ready to go. How do you want to do carpool?" And she says to me, "Oh, something happened and we're not going there anymore. We pulled our kids out of there. We're not going there anymore." I'm like, "What?" I just paid the deposit. Like, you can't get your money back. I don't know about you, but any of these places, once you put your money down, like, you can't get your money back. And I remember feeling angry because I felt like, I was wanting to blame her. Like, why didn't she tell me? And, I just felt really stupid because here's the thing. I own that. Like, I was angry at first towards her, but it wasn't her fault. It was my fault because I should have done my due diligence. I should have made the decision of what was best for my family and my children and our family based on what I believe, not what someone else is doing, not following what someone else does. And I see this a lot. It just taught me that, when we're making decisions, we are going to make decisions that are best for us. And if it aligns with the other folks, great. But if it doesn't, that does not define what we're going to do. And that's just been my motto. There's, I think it's Romans 12:2. Do not conform to the ways of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And how I interpret that is like, listen to your gut, follow your values, make decisions based on what's best for you, your health, your family. And if it aligns with everybody else's, well, hopefully you're around other people that your values align. Then yeah, let's do it. And that was really like when we traveled America. A lot of people, like, we didn't tell a lot of people at first because a lot of people thought we were crazy. Like, they were like, "Oh, you're going to take your kids out of school and live in an RV for a year." And, and there was a lot of skepticism around it, and it was really a bold thing, but it was, all the decisions around it were based on what was best for our family and what we wanted to do. And so I just want to encourage you that when you're figuring out what you want to do, I mean, there's actually like a 7-step process for decision making, which I'll just share with you really quickly. It's like, number one is identifying the decision, whatever it might be. So Another one for me was becoming an entrepreneur versus working in a corporate world. That was like a huge decision. So identifying the decision. Second thing is gathering information. So, figuring out like what are all of the different things that you need to understand in order to make that decision. The third thing is identifying alternatives. So, I guess using my example, I'll use the Traveling America example. We had to gather all this information about, traveling in an RV with our family. And we did this before it was, when the pandemic happened, it became pretty prevalent. A lot of people did that. We had done it previous. So it was 2016 and 2017. So figuring out all the nuances of what you do, there's different apps for, different types of campgrounds, what they offer, and gather information about what kind of RV we were going to get, how are the kids going to do school, how are we going to do our work. We both worked on the road. Identifying the alternatives, like what are different ways that we could do this? What are different routes we could go in the country? And then evaluating all those. So for us, like for example, we ended up getting a Class A RV and towing a Jeep versus like the big trailers with a big truck. Like that was the route that we decided, because we wanted to have flexibility when we were traveling to walk around and be able to make a sandwich while you're driving. So the fifth step is select the best alternative. Number 6 is take action. And then number 7 is review. So those are like the technical steps of a decision. And I'm sure you do those things, just intuitively on a lot, but there's different things that you want to evaluate. And so then the other thing is, like I said, align with your values and trust your gut. Sometimes I think we can lose sight of listening to our bodies. When you're trying to do something or you're trying to make a decision and you just keep hitting a wall and there's just something stopping you and you get a weird, like in your gut, it just doesn't feel right. Listen to that. And then on the converse, listen to it when it feels right and have that as an input. And then finally, you control your life. I always say, like, you are a victor, not a victim. And sometimes what can happen when we make decisions, or, maybe sometimes not making a decision is making a decision. And we can kind of, like on that one situation I mentioned about my kids going to that daycare place when the other mom decided not to do it. I had to own the fact that I just blindly followed and did that. I went along with this person as opposed to like deciding for myself. So I have to own that, just like you. If there are decisions in your life that, situations you're in, good or bad, it's like whether our lives are great, whether they are mediocre, whether they're terrible, it all comes back to you and me. And it sounds harsh, but no one's going to save you. You have to decide what you want to do in your life. So you've got all those mini decisions, but ultimately all those decisions are what create your life. There was some quotes that I really love. One says, always make decisions that prioritize your inner peace. Always make decisions that prioritize your inner peace. I mean, that's like that trusting your gut. Another one is, you cannot make progress without making decisions. I think it's easy to just not make decisions and just stay stuck. But that is where, in order for you to progress in your life, you have to make decisions. So kind of marinate on that idea. And then, okay, this is a good one. It says, truly successful decision-making relies on a balance between deliberate and instinctive thinking. And that's what we were just talking about, the conscious and unconscious things. There's things that you're just going to, and really those things are habits. It's like creating habits. Like I was telling you, for me, I make the bed every day. I have certain things that I do, and it's just a part of me, a part of my life. I don't have to think about it because it's become a habit. So for you, if there's things that you want to improve on, maybe your morning routine, maybe there's, taking a walk every day or getting into certain habits. Initially, it's about making those decisions to move forward for those habits. And then they become who you are. So they just almost become an unconscious thing that you do. And then when your values are clear to you, making decisions becomes easier. When your values are clear to you, your decisions become easier. I think that's another great one. If you value, my priorities, the way that I set things up is God, family, work. God, family, work. I'm very intentional about having my morning God time, and my spiritual life is a big part of, obviously it's the biggest part for me, and then my family, and then work. And so it's that balance. And sometimes you got to juggle things, but to me it's like, if you have that in alignment, then it's easier to make decisions. So just to net it out, here's the decision tips. Number one, pay attention to your energy. When you know that you make 35,000 decisions a day, I think that it raises that awareness that, if you don't want to be hungry, you don't want to be angry, you don't want to be lonely or tired, because that's not good. You're not going to make good decisions in that state. Second thing, aligning with your values. So doing what's best for you and your family. The third is own it, right? You are in control of your life. You take charge of your decisions, and that will drive the results for you. And trust your gut. So you've got all the answers inside of you, and you've got what it takes. And if you are stuck and you're just struggling here, listen, we all face that. I have people that help me. I have a business coach that helps me. I have, different people that I turn to help in my journey. And so if you are stuck, or if you are, trying to figure some things out, and you just having a hard time moving forward, please reach out to me and for a free consultation if you go to my website at christinemroberts.com. And we're going to be starting a 12-week program here in 3 weeks. So you can get on the wait list for that. And let's just have a conversation. I hope that adds some value to your life. And I hope that I see you soon. Please comment if this was beneficial for you. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Take care.